It's real simple, brothers and sisters. You have to learn privacy. That means you got to go to the law library. That means you have to learn contract law. That means you have to learn private law. You have to learn privacy. If you don't know how to maintain your privacy through contract law, then you won't know how to maintain the foreign trust that everyone wants to have to be tax exempt. You have to have a trust in place. It's just that simple. You have to have a trust in place for your 98 number. Individuals that are looking to have a 98 number and are not having a trust back it, there's a thing called form versus substance. Form versus substance. You have to have the form, which is the trust, but you have to have the substance backing. You have to have documentation. You have to have some form of documentation in place. You can't just say, I have a trust, and you're going to get a number, but you don't have any substantiation to back it. It doesn't work that way. How is a common law foreign trust 98 number tax exempt? Because it is a private contract that is written not inside of the United States jurisdiction. It's that simple. It's private. You didn't go to the state and get it open. You utilized the right to contract and you contract privately. It's that simple, brothers and sisters. You have to be able to maintain your privacy through contracts. I went to the IRS code. You all can go there yourself. I went to the United States Constitution. You all can go there yourself. Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution and even your state constitutions. It tells you that no state will abridge the right to contract. And then you all have the Business Trust Manual. You can Google it. It's a great PDF. It gives you a good understanding of foreign equals private and domestic equals public. It gives you that ownership equals full liability. It goes over how own nothing and control everything. That's what it's all about. Maintaining your privacy at all times. What are you going to do? You have to be able to maintain your privacy. You were born with your privacy. People have just went into the public and accepted public benefits. And these foreign trusts, these 98 number trusts, foreign trusts that are created in privacy, are owning public entities. It's that simple. Privacy, brothers and sisters. Protect your privacy. It's that simple. You have the Privacy Act of 1974 and 75. You all can look up those things. That will give you a great footing, a great place to start, so you can maintain your privacy. Because otherwise, your privacy is not protected by the public. And the only reason they're protecting it is because they don't want it to conflict with public interest. Who's operating from these foreign trusts? Corporations are. Wealthy people are. The elite are. The 1% that supposedly owns 98% of the wealth. It's up to you all, brothers and sisters, whether you all are going to study and get into the position of own nothing, control everything. You don't need to be a lawyer. You don't need to be an attorney. You hire those people. You seek out competent people, CPAs, to manage the accounting. That's what it's about. It's about control. It's not about ownership. So for individuals that aren't familiar with trust, the reason why I like trust, brothers and sisters, is because they create transparency. Inside of a trust, there's a three-party contract. The three-party contract says there's a grantor, there's trustees, and there's beneficiaries. Okay? We don't deal in grantor type trust. A lot of people think, well, once I go into the private, I'm going to own the trust. The first mentality in privacy or foreign trust, 98 number, exempt, that means you don't own it. So you never say, it's my trust. You'll always say, I'm a trustee for. I'm an executor for. I'm an administrator for. But you don't own it. You'll never state it as such that you own it. It's no need to own it. Why? Because it's own nothing, control everything. The trust owns everything. You just control the assets that it holds. What are the assets that the trust holds? The trust is a person. A person is an entity. Just like the social security number is an entity, the trust is an entity. It can hold cars. It can buy houses. It can buy property. It can take out insurance policies. So that means that you also have the opportunity to a degree, create an additional person. Just like you're utilizing a person because they're both entities. Very critical to understand. So they create transparency. They put you in a position of own nothing, control everything. No one now can question, do you own the assets? All you're going to do is say, I don't own them. I control them. Brothers and sisters, we're having some issues on the blog talk. I'm going to correct some of the issues, so please be patient. We're having some technical difficulties here. I have no problem with doing this episode again on Saturday. Today is Tuesday, so if we have to do it again, just know I give my best every time I come forth. So if there's any technical difficulties, we will continue to roll and create another episode. I know that there's been an issue, so we'll correct that. So we're going to continue, brothers and sisters. Just be patient with us here.
Start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2. To speak to customer service.
Calling back into a live show. We are reconnecting you now.
Thank you, brothers and sisters, for being patient. We definitely are going to bring our best to bring the best episodes to you all. And so, once again, we're going to continue to roll because the show must go on. Brothers and sisters, this information is private, but it's also sitting right in front of your eyes in the public. It's all about being able to see the information in the public. Now you know what privacy looks like. When you see, you hear the presidents talk about, well, this is what's going on in the private sector. You know that there's a private sector for a reason. There's a private sector. You know that there's a private sector, but what's the law governing the private sector? Well, it clearly shows you that no state's going to impair the obligation of contracts, so it looks like it's under the common law. It doesn't look like it's under the statutory law. It doesn't look like it's under the public law. It doesn't look like it's under the what is that? Not just statutory. It doesn't look like it's public. It doesn't look like it's under the domestic law. It's under the foreign law. You're not inside. The entity's not inside of the domestic jurisdiction. That's where we are, brothers and sisters. It's not under the domestic jurisdiction. It's that simple, brothers and sisters. Are you domestic or are you foreign? Foreign equals private, domestic equals public. It's that simple, brothers and sisters. So, I know that we have some people in the chat on YouTube. I know that we also have some people on the line, listening from the UK. I want to give a shout out to all of the UK listeners, all the individuals that are listening in West Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana. I always get the feedback from Facebook. If this episode has any issues, brothers and sisters, when I go back to whether it's posting a recording, just know I will do this recording again. How the common law, foreign trust, 98 number is tax exempt. I will do it again because it is nothing wrong with talking about the information that's sitting right in front of your eyes, but people have not been educated Because we all been given an education, but what education have you been given? The domestic equals public education, or have you been given a foreign equals private education? What education have you been given? So the education comes from, once again, private families. You're either informed or you're uninformed. You either have ownership, which equals full liability, or you practice the philosophy of own nothing, control everything. That's how you operate. So I want to give a shout out to everybody that's listening live. Shout out to everybody that's listening in the archives. I've seen that there's been some technical difficulties. And once again, just be prepared for another episode this weekend if possible. And if anything goes wrong, with this one, we'll make sure that we clean it up and bring the best to you all, because that's what we do at High Frequency Radio Network and at the Vault, because that's what Sharif Ali does. So I'm going to make it a point to open up the phone lines and get a couple callers here. So if you have any questions, brothers and sisters, you all can call in to the number. It's 424-222.